Flight boss, bitch, you know, for sure. You're now listening to the Mind of a Planetary's Moon. I'm the Archangel URIEL, and I'm here to carry out God duties and motherfucker responsibilities. And right now, we're going to talk about planetary lights, aka planetary frequencies, aka planetary sounds, aka planetary energies and vibrations and fucking frequencies that you're going to be picking up. So, you know, to get it, you know what I'm saying? Everything is a perception. So, you know, the better the perception, the higher the perception, the more you can perceive, the better you know how to align yourself with certain realms or realities, the better you know how to gain control over the information from the lights that you're receiving. Because when it comes to sound, frequency, sounds, light, sight, visualization, these are things you're receiving. These are not, and the ones that you put out is what others receive. But in this case right here, we need to put everything in perspective so you can know how to get better control over the planetary energies and how they persuade you in so many ways, because they're lights also. So when you want to talk about light in general, let's just talk about light in general. Light is information. Light is thrust into the yin realm. So light is magic. Light is a manifestation is a physical and dense representation of spirit. You know what I'm saying? So what happens here is light brings enlightenment. It's able for you to see itself. So this is how something became, or the God became to have a spirit. So this is your inner fire. This is why fire signs like to express themselves. If you're a fire sun sign, you like to express yourself for others can see it. And if you're a fire moon sign, you have an inner expression to prove to yourself. You see what I'm saying? So it might not involve anyone else. You may just have things that you need to prove to yourself to make you emotionally comfortable with yourself. So if you're a Sag fire sign, sometimes you may need freedom or freedom of thought and freedom of expression in order to feel comfortable with your inner expression. Aries, you may need to be secluded or extra private, or doing something to make you feel like you push forward. Leo, you may need to do something to make you feel comfortable for others around you. But that's another video. We want to just talk about fire. We want to talk about light in general, because fire isn't necessarily light, but you can get light from fire. So you see what I'm saying? This is why it's all tied to the spirit, but it's just less dense. You know what I'm saying? So any physical representation of light you see is just less dense of the actual frequency of it. So when you want to talk about light in general, when it comes dense and play out in certain realms of realities, you know, as you being a being experiencing this realm of reality, you know a certain amount of light can make you blind. Can make your physical, when we start to talk about the physical aspects, the physical representations of light. When you see light and then it hits your eyes, and if it's too bright, then it's going to make your the physical light is going to, the physical representation of that is going to make the physical representation of your third eye. And this is how you know you down and level and dense as more down than up, because your third eye was supposed to go less, but it duplicated. So you got two eyes now as the physical representations of your one eye. So you need more to experience in this realm of reality. So this is why, I'm saying, that's another video though. But this is why you're a lesser God than others. You need more things, and it takes more experiences for understanding and understanding. But for the most part, when the physical representation of the light hits your physical representation of your eyes, then it could be blind. So it's doing that in the lesser dense realm of reality it's still doing the same mechanism. You see what I'm saying? So it's doing that to your soul, it's doing that to your spiritual nature, and the higher it goes. So you know what I'm saying? When we talk about it in less dense factors, we have to put it in less dense realms of realities. So when we want to talk about planetary lights, let's talk about Venus first. Venus, as in astrology, represents love, appreciation, value, how you relate to others, compromising, appreciation, and also, key word, pleasures. Pleasures. So pleasures, anything that you pleasure, you can it could dive into overindulging, and overindulging could dive into bad habits. So when we want to talk about Venus, Venus is a light. So the light that is recommended, and the light that it shows itself on Earth, it gets played out through the humans and through all beings and all things amongst Earth, as Earth is the energy itself, but we're going to get to that. But as far as where Venus is at now, that's the kind of energy that same mechanism is going to be shining on you. So it's still showing love, appreciation, value, and compromising. But whatever sign is in, that's how it's going to do it. So that's how the light is going to be emitted. So if Venus is in Aries now, which it doesn't like to be, or it doesn't like to be, if it's in Venus, if it's in Aries or Scorpio, it's going to emit the love, appreciation, and value and relativeness for itself, or for its own values. You see what I'm saying? If Venus is in Taurus or Libra, it's going to love, appreciate, and value and relate for the sake of its own, or in a practical way, or communicate. For the sake of others, in a practical way, which would be Taurus, or in a communicative way, which would be Libra. You see what I'm saying? So you get what I'm saying? As I go 4 and 4, if Venus was in Gemini, it's going to be showing love, appreciation, and value, and relatedness, and compromising for knowledge, communication, analyzing, thinking. You see what I'm saying? So when we get these lights, now that's how it's going to emit to the earth. Now how you apply yourself with it or align yourself with it is based upon your Venus. So if your Venus is in a sextile, square, semi-sextile, trine, or whatever that's relating to the Venus that's today that's going on, then that's how you're going to experience your world of the light, realm of reality of love, illusion. As love, appreciation, value, creativeness, arts, appreciation, value, and pleasures. So if it's a square, we know that's a learning process. So if your Venus is square in today's Venus, you're going to have to learn something from others that's around you, a person, place, or thing that's around you, on how they accommodate love and apply it to yourself. If it's an opposition, you're either going to have to set aside your own or align yourself with for the sake of others, as long as they're doing the same thing. If it's a trine, you have that gift to actually do that energy that Venus is, the sign is in today, that's putting out. You got that gift to do it if it's on your choice. If it's a sextile, you're going to run into situations where you find opportunities to play out that energy that's going on today. If it's a conjunction, then you are that energy today. So if your Venus is conjuncting today's Venus, then the way you love, appreciate, and value is the way Gaia is wanting everybody to love and appreciate. So you are, as an example, to others, and you may be an opposition to others. Conjunction can play out in many different ways. But the Lightz itself, in the yin realm, is just a straight frequency. The Lightz itself is expressing the vibration of it. So what's happening here is, when you see Lightz is bending around what's already there. It's not going through it, it's bending around. So light is like a less dense, like water, you know what I'm saying? All these are elements that's mixed in together if you can physically see them, because they playing out through energy. But light bends. This is what scientists trying to figure out in space. Like, what is dark matter? What is dark matter, and what was the other one? It's another one. But at the same time, the only reason they came to that conclusion is because what I'm talking about right now. Light bends around what's already there. You see what I'm saying? And since in space they got telescopes to see light surrounding something, but they since they don't know what the light is surrounding, they're calling it dark matter or dark energy. You see what I'm saying? They're just giving something that they don't know about a title, but they don't necessarily know what it is. And I'm gonna break that down, and that's another video. That's the actual conscious pool, but that's another video. You know what I'm saying? It's like a fluid. It's the time experience. We're gonna get into that, man. But as far as this video right here, equating to light, anytime you put light in the dark, you can see, but it actually is going to bend around what's already there. So the light is going to shape what's there. It's going to create the illusion of what's already there. And depending on what intellectual being and how high in frequency and spirit they is, these beings are able to have control over that mechanism. They're able to have control over what realms of reality see this illusion like. Because this illusion is the light, which is aka the light. The light is just shaping what's already there. And since people don't know what's already there, the beings that could come up with the best explanation of what can possibly be there be seen at the highest stature. This is why you got scientists. This is why you got, you know what I'm saying? But that's just as far as it go. Don't look at these people like they know something you don't know. We all have the same knowledge privy to. Just because this person went to college and learned this science thing way longer than you doesn't mean doesn't mean they have more technology than you. You have the same technology. They're just utilizing their technology in a realm of reality that predestined them. That was created by another being that was part of ruled by an intellectual being and an Elohim God. You see what I'm saying? But that's just part of the knowledge. That's not the whole knowledge. So when we want to talk about light creates the illusion of and part of an illusion is being able to explain what the light is surrounding. You know what I'm saying? Being able to explain what's not there. So what's not there is what you can't see. That's why your moon sign, your emotions and feelings, you can't see that. Mercury, you can't see your thoughts unless you express it with your sun. This is why the sun is one of the most important out of the sun, moon, and rising. The sun, moon, and rising, these are the three most important. If we had to pick, it'd be the moon. But they're all three magnificently important because people would never know who you genuinely are if you never showed yourself and expressed yourself. And how people going to see who you are if you're not utilizing your sun? That's the only way people can see who you are. Anytime you expressing yourself, people see what you're into, people see your actions, the way you act. That's your sun. That's your light. That's what we can see. And the energy that's beaming off your light, your aura from your light, is your rising, your personality, right? But what we can't see is your emotions and feelings. And for anybody to see that in this realm of reality, you need your sun, you need your rising. You see what I'm saying? Because no one will never know who you are, and you'll be in a world by yourself, which ultimately you are. But you can't. You're in a universe, so you have to share. That's why you have you don't have to, but that's why you have an external body. But not to get off the subject, you know what I'm saying? You know, my soul group could digress on that. But as far as talking about light is an expression. It's a version. It's a situation that you can see yourself. So this is what God had to do to see itself. So even though you could say yin was first, yin and yang is within the same thing. You could just break down yang and all the mechanisms that came out of yang, and you could talk about yin and all the mechanisms that came out of yin and how they combine together to create energy, and now how you could equate to yang being part of the frequency, yin being part of the vibration, and then energy being the offspring of them is when you get a bunch of combined and the actual sextile origination, and that's how the energy came about. And energy is to create a new energy is when two things have to come together. Two energies, but in this case, a frequency and a vibration. And when a frequency and a vibration come together, it's almost like a yang and a yin coming together, and it creates an energy. You see what I'm saying? But at the same time, when you want to talk about lights is like it's the illusion, and whoever got the best explanation because like look, when you're in the dark, to see anything, it takes light. So if you can't see anything, you don't know what's there. So if you live in a world where there never was no light and you run into a wall or a tree, you never knew that was there till somebody turned the light on. You'd be like, oh, that's a wall, that's a tree. Now before you say that's a wall, that's a tree, say you in a world that you didn't even know that existed. The being who come across who got the best explanation to say that, oh, this is an object that you can't run into, or this is a tree. The first person who came up with this is a wall, this is a tree, you're going to ultimately believe that person. So generations and generations and generations down the line, you're coming up with ideas and frequencies and spirits of where a tree and wall come from, when that may not have been initially the illusion in the first place. But since that person, that being, created that concept, and since that concept is a frequency, because it's an idea, soon as it started getting experienced year after year and more people putting energy into it, that's a vibration. It's vibrating very high, right? Now it got brought into a frequency hertz where it matters to people. Now a tree and a wall actually matters to people, right? So now it matters so much that it actually get brought into matter. Now it's vibrating at a frequency megahertz that it could be vibrating at a solidary level that it's made solid now. You see what I'm saying? So who made the general concept of that in the first place, that may not have even been the illusion of it. So us walking into walls and trees and shit, that technically don't even have to be part of our illusion that we in. But since it mattered and there's so much energy brought into it, it's a physical form now. So this is how the beings and the Elohim constructed this realm of reality. before they constructed the physical form to actually experience here. This is the mechanisms I'm talking about right now that they use to take their inner world and be able to express it externally. And then they just, when you get, that's like a person getting greedy and a person wanting to experience their own creation. You know what I'm saying? That's like a person, and that's where you get people who like pedophiles and people who like to do stuff with their own children and stuff like that. You see what I'm saying? And that's over greedy, over possessive, pigs and things of that nature. It doesn't have anything to do with race or anything of that nature. It just got the person with this mind state come from that spiritual mechanism, come from that spiritual nature. You see what I'm saying? So, and when we want to talk about Lightz also, we could get into the illusion of knowing how you're following the right God or not. Because how you know you're following the right God, anytime there's a God telling you there's you and then you're repeating the information, you're passing it on, telling people you have to, you know what I'm saying? And then compared to the God that you always hear a person or a God saying I, you got mechanisms in this, I did this, I did that. You got certain mechanisms that's coming from the you that's convincing people and left brain people in this world that the person who's saying I did this, I am, is the negative one, and the person who's saying you should is the bad one. And you probably thinking in my head right now, like, what you talking about? Yeah, that person sound arrogant and this being sound like they're relatable to people. But listen, one is the natural nature, two is what brought negativity in general. Now, one and two have nothing to do with positive and negative, but I'm just telling you that, like I was talking about frequencies and vibrations in my last video, these things derive under it. So negativity need duality, need relativeness, need others. But two don't need that. Two don't need negativity. Two don't need relativeness. Two don't need other people. But all that relativeness and all that shit need two. You see what I'm saying? The number two, the energy frequency of two. So you see what I'm saying? So when you want to talk about it, let's break it down into human form. And this is what I like to do because my Jupiter is in Taurus. So boom. This is what I like to do. So I'm about to bring it into reality so y'all people can understand it in earth terms. Now, now metaphysically, you think that sound bad. You think this being is arrogant because this being always saying I did this, and this being trying to relate and help others by saying you should do this, you should do that. Let's break it down in earth terms though, right? And what makes sense, common sense. Taurus is the master of the five senses. You know what I'm saying? Metaphysically and on this earth. It can feel you and it can touch you and feel you. You see what I'm saying? It can love taste, and it can have good taste into things. So that's physically and metaphysically with Taurus. All right, my Taurus is in Jupiter. So boom, let me tell you how this relate. Now, say you and say you at a job or something like that, right? Or you working on something with a group of people, right? Which person do you like more? You like the person who's saying, all right, I can do this. And this person just look like they taking all the toll. They working, boom, boom, boom. And then they leading by example. So they're not waiting on you to do something. They're leading by example, doing what they're already doing. So it's kind of and then compare that to the person who's saying you did this, you should do that. You do this, oh, this should be done like this, or this should be done like that. Remind you, they ain't leading by example at no point of view. They got you just listening to them based upon other people telling you, oh, this person is good. They did this way back. I never seen them do this before, but they did this. You may got one person who may have seen them do this, but they telling you, right? Now, what person you gonna affiliate yourself more with in a more positive? And feel like it's more inspiration. The person that's bossing you, the person that's bossing you around, or the person that's leading by example and making you feel inspired, like, dang, I should do it like that because they getting it done fast, opposing to the person that's making you feel like you should do it this way and this way and that way and this way and the third, and that's the right way to do it. Now, if you at a job or work, which one off the bat you feel like you're gonna gear would you gear towards more? Especially if these two different managers. If you got one manager that do that, you got one manager that's tell you how to do this, and just because they're the manager, you have to listen. You got the other manager who step in the line and help you work and show you how to do it better sometimes. Which one would you go towards? Boom. You're going to go towards the one that put themselves on the line and lead by example, right? Boom, 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 boom. So why are you not doing that spiritually? See what I'm saying? It's the same shit. You got to look at it. Look at the light and the illusion you consumed then. And you're going to repeat whatever yourself is telling you, because we're all talking to ourselves. That's why it's always better to listen to more people who say, like if you're listening to interviews of success stories by celebrities, always listen to a person who's saying, who's getting interviewed, and they're saying, okay, I did this and I did this. Never listen to a person who's saying, you got to do this, or you did this, or they did this, or they did this, because it's putting in the spirit and the mechanism, and that's basically you. That person is you. So if you're listening to that, consuming yourself with that every day, it's going to play out in your life in mechanisms you don't know. If you listen to a person who's saying, well, you listen to a celebrity who made it, and they every time they telling you, well, you got to do this, you got to do that. I don't care if it's a positive or a negative. They're saying, well, you should do this, you should do this. They don't add it ain't no mechanism of I. It's always a you should do this or you should do that, whatever like that. Then you're going to repeat that. But you're not understanding how that's going down then up. You see what I'm saying? Because you're going to see how that play out. You're going to play out more situations in your life where you're telling and doing, you're not doing things, and you're actually preventing others from doing things. You see what I'm saying? Other than listen to the celebrity who's saying, I did this, because you're really saying this to yourself. So you're going to be stepping in more frequencies and vibrations of actually doing things. And actually being able to be in situations where you actually start having conversations more of saying, well, I did this, I did that, I did this. And 9 times out of 10, the person who's in that frequency have done more in life than a person in the frequency of saying you should do this, you should do that. 9 times out of 10, that person in that frequency prevented their own self from doing a lot of shit. You see what I'm saying? And you can just take that small concept and see how that play out so largely in people's lives, from a little mechanism to the large mechanism. You see what I'm saying? So when we talk about lights and illusions, lights is just an illusion. So whoever can pretty it up the best of explaining to you what you think you see, because even though the lights is on, you're not seeing me. You seeing the frequency vibration hertz vibrating at a certain level, at a certain rate. That's what you're seeing, but you're not actually seeing me. And that's more tied to the moon than the sun and the rising. This is why the moon is still a little bit more powerful than the sun and the rising. You see what I'm saying? You don't see me, you see the physical form. You see what I'm saying? You don't see me, you see what's vibrating here. So I don't care if the light's on or not. You still don't actually see what you think you're seeing, but whoever got the best explanation to explain what you think you're seeing is most of the time the people who's going to be held at the most prestige. And we need to break that concept down before we even go any further into anything that they're into. You know what I'm saying? I don't care what you into, whether you an atheist, you don't believe in anything, whether you a religious person, whether you a person who just don't think of it. I don't care what you into. It doesn't even matter. At some point in degree, the reason why you even come to those conclusions is because of the concept I just brought forth. Like I said, it doesn't even matter what you actually seeing. Everything is in the dark. So the light is an illusion. So just the simple fact that you're looking at a light and think you're seeing something is an illusion. Now, like I said, there's a lot of things that's dealing with light and spirits within the light, that's warmth and kind of the illusion that you may need to see that may be a little closer to what you can't see. Then you have a lot of light that's just filtered with a bunch of shit, aka fluorescent lights, aka got a bunch of other shit, bunch of other illusions, bunch of other ingredients in there, and you seeing filters before you actually seeing what